Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to give it just a minute here while we let some people trickle in. You may notice that your video and your audio has been turned off, and that's just to give everyone a really great viewing experience. But we definitely do want to hear from you. So please feel free to drop any questions you may have in the chats or in the Q&A box. We actually have a poll that I'm going to go ahead and put up here just to kind of get a better understanding of your business and where you're at today. So we're asking about your total licensed capacity. So how many total children across all locations do you serve today, or are you licensed to serve? And then feel free to drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. It's always fun to kind of hear where people are all over the country, sometimes even where they are all over the world. I know we've got a little bit of a mixed bag here today. Lisa is in Dallas, and Jacob, you're in Myrtle Beach, right?
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. And looks like we got some people here. Also, Denver, we got some people from Tennessee. That's awesome. Los Angeles, thanks for joining us.
That's what I was looking for.
Rich.
All the way across the country. We got
Yeah.
South Carolina all the way to California.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. New York. Yeah, we've got every corner covered almost. Amazing, amazing. You will receive a certificate of attendance for being here today. That'll be sent out Monday morning. So keep an eye out for an email coming from LineLeader in your inbox. And then I'll leave the poll up here for another minute for people to just fill that in. Again, just kind of get a better understanding of your business and where you're at and your growth journey. We are going to be talking about automation and productivity today. This will be recorded, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of great nuggets that you're going to want to refer back to. So that will be sent out on Monday as well. And again, feel free to drop any questions, comments in the chat or the Q&A box today, and we'll make sure to get to those before the end of today's session. We've got someone who said they're having trouble hearing us.
Oh, no.
So I just want to check in if everyone else is good sound-wise.
I think that people must have heard because they are answering your questions.
Okay, good. Yeah. Apologies if you can't hear. Maybe the volume might need to go up, or maybe it's just an
Zoom can be finicky
issue.
very
It
often.
can. Technology, it's just, I feel like it's always changing, always relearning things.
One of my only audio tricks, and I'm not a tech guy. I am kind of a tech guy just with my age, but if you hover over the audio button, click the arrow up, make sure you have the right output selected, the right speaker. But that's about as far as my IT solutions go.
To be fair, if she can't hear,
She did not hear. You are very right, Lisa. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
We're just miming.
Sarah with the microphone.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off. I'm gonna leave it to you, Lisa and Jacob, to dive into automation and productivity.
Jacob, why don't you kick us off with an introduction? Tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Jacob Jensen. I'm in the Myrtle Beach area of South Carolina. I am a coach for the Childcare Success Company, as well as the executive director of the Learning Station Child Development Center in the Grand Strand area here in South Carolina. We have 3 locations. We service over 500 families in the Horry County area. Oh, you got something for me?
I'm
Not
just
for me.
my
Somebody else.
Pull it down a little. That's all.
And yeah, I absolutely love what I get to do. My parents started this company over 20 years ago, so now I'm kind of getting to take on the baton and continue to carry out their legacy and continue to impact and serve families in our area. I actually grew up in the school that I'm now running, and so it's been a blast. So automation and productivity are some of my absolute favorite topics to touch on. So excited to hang out with Lisa today and just chat it up about the census and just all the different things that come with kind of introducing technologies and optimizing your workflows. So, Lisa.
I'll start with how old Jacob just made me feel by saying that he grew up and is now in the family business. But my name is Lisa. I'm with LineLeader, and we are all about automation and productivity. And I've been here for going on 8 years. But before that, I was, similar to Jacob, I was in the field. I have done pretty much every job that you can imagine. Before I came to LineLeader, I was the COO of a large multi-site organization. We had about 62 locations when I joined the LineLeader team. And I love automation. That's why I'm here. And I think that automation makes a difference in childcare. So really excited. So I'm going to kick this off, Jacob, with a question for you. You're learning the business and you're getting into kind of that business administration side. What is your favorite tool? What is your favorite piece of automation that you're using right now that you found has been really impactful to your business?
Yeah. Absolutely. So to preface, I think one of the biggest things that I noticed coming into the childcare field from, I was in the mortgage world for a little bit. I was actually in ministry for a while, with a very progressive church in the sense of like technology and the way that we were using automation and workflows and data and all that kind of stuff. Was that childcare doesn't have a lot of automation, right? And so I know that's something that you guys over at LineLeader and a lot of other companies are kind of revolutionizing and trailblazing the path forward in what automation and all those things look like in the field. But that's been kind of like one of my biggest focuses since coming in, has been trying to find ways that we can automate processes and do all those things. And I think for me, if I have to pick my favorite, which I hate to do because I love all of them, anything that automates and optimizes, I'm two thumbs up for, right? So if I had to pick my favorite, I am very, very heavily on the staff side of our operation. And so I personally we use Bamboo HR. We use their ATS, we use their employee database, we use their time tracking, we use their performance, their well-being metrics, ENPS surveys. They have a lot of really good built-in metrics to kind of automate a lot of the evaluation processes with staff, or even things like time cards and the way that I can pull that out to process payroll and different things like that. But especially their applicant tracking system and their hiring process has been probably my favorite thing ever. There's a rating system. You can view resumes. You can find out what their desired salary is before they even interview. You can schedule the interviews directly from there. You can make the offers, send the new hire packets. Everything is all just in one beautiful page that you can do all these things from. And so I know for me, anytime I'm looking at automation or optimization, the simpler the better, the more straightforward the better, and just being able to navigate that, create easy SOPs on things, so that it's replicatable, it's delegatable, all those different things are super important for me. But Lisa, I would love to know, as someone working in one of the forerunners of automation in this industry, what is one of your favorite features? What's one of your favorite automations?
Well, let me talk about kind of the system, the product, because I'd have to go with a CRM product. I think that this is where I get to be on my soapbox. I love that. So I really believe that enrollment is the key to childcare, right? Without enrollment, we don't get to pay teachers what they deserve to be paid. We don't get to have incredible quality resources in the classroom, materials for children. And enrollment is the key to all of that. And that is for-profit, nonprofit, doesn't matter. Everybody needs enrollment. And I really think a CRM product that helps you to quickly answer parents and make them part of that enrollment, kick off their enrollment journey, is incredibly important. Having that insight, knowing where my families were coming from, how quickly I could get them enrolled in the program, that was key to growing my business. And in the time span that I was with the company that I was with, we went from 12 locations to over 60. I credit that to a CRM. I don't think we could have done that without that kind of program. CRM. So, and I would say, now you're asking me about a feature within CRM. And Jacob, you put it out there. So you are a Gen Z person. Gen Z, very late millennials, those are our parents, right? Those are the people that we're talking to. And if we're not meeting them where they are, and that is in an automated and digital world, we're missing the boat.
Absolutely.
Pick a specific feature, I would say it was the ability for parents to do the self-scheduled tour, where, if they're up at 1 o'clock in the morning and they're thinking about childcare and they go to your website and they see something they like, let them schedule the tour. Don't make them wait to get a phone call the next day and they don't want to answer the phone or they're driving. And then maybe they call you back and you're busy because you've got, childcare going on and you have to be involved in that. And there's this back and forth that could literally take days. Why are we doing that? Why are we putting up that wall? Why are we making that barrier? I think the ability to let people schedule that tour when they're excited, when they're thinking about that care program, that would be the thing that I would think if I was in a childcare facility today that I could not live without.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're 100% right. Like being a part of Gen Z, like I very much am the age of the clients you're servicing. I mean, I myself have a 2 and a 4-year-old. And I know for myself, for my peers, like we don't want to call, like we don't want to have to get put on hold or take a message or wait for someone else to figure things out. It's exactly like I chuckled while you said it, but it's like I can't tell you how many times at 1 a.m. I've had a thought and I've gone online and I've booked something or made a note of something or set a reminder to do something. Because it really is, it's a digital world that we're living in. And I mean the data even shows that. Like the data is increasing every single year, year over year. The census that you guys put together is absolutely phenomenal at like kind of showing the trends of the industry, and it's definitely something that it can't be ignored anymore. It's no longer the thing that you can say, oh well, one day we'll go paperless or one day we'll figure out that thing. It's here, like it's fully here. So I completely agree with you.
All right, now here I'm going to make you chuckle, Jacob. And I know that the people online, I can't hear you, but I agree that you will be laughing too. Here are two things that we do in childcare that we simply will not let go, and I don't know why, that are completely counterintuitive to what you just said about being in a digital world. The first one is when parents walk in, we hand them a clipboard and a pen or a pencil and ask them to fill out paperwork.
I'll throw up.
I mean, it just is, wow, what is that, just subtly, subliminally saying to the family that you're still using pencil and paper to get people to fill out forms? It tells them you're not up with the times. Same thing, some people do try. They're like, okay, hey, I'm gonna send this as a PDF. Well, if you send something as a PDF, somebody still has to print it and fill it out. Jacob, you got a printer at your house?
Lisa, you put me on the spot. I do not have a printer at my house. No.
People don't, and it just this whole, I'm going to stay on paperwork because it's incredible. I did a study about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years back. The average enrollment package, just on average, I looked at 150 different organizations. It's 13 pages long, because you've got your paperwork, you've got the state's paperwork, you might have additional things that you're looking at. 13 pages. In those 13 pages, you're asking the parents to fill out their own name 9 times. Jacob, how do you feel about writing your name out on a piece of paper 9 times?
I'd rather cry. I
Crazy.
don't, Lisa, if I'm sitting here reflecting, I don't know the last time I even wrote something as transparent as I can be.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think I wrote my wife a card for Mother's Day. That was the last time I think I wrote something
All
with
right.
my actual hand.
That's
Yeah.
one thing, is the whole printer thing and giving people pieces of paper. My second thing that we're still doing, and I see it because I go into centers all the time, we have that little mailbox in the lobby, right? And that little mailbox in the lobby is where we ask people to put their tuition checks. Jacob, you have a check?
Lisa, I do not own a checkbook. I do not.
Right.
I know
You
how to write a check. I will stand my ground there. My parents did teach me how to write a check, but I do not personally write checks or even have a checkbook should I want to write a check.
I've heard from lots of families that just to pay their child care tuition, they have to go to the bank and get a couple of checks, right? Because you only need that a couple, some people do monthly tuition, but they want to do this in a digital way. They want to, be able to just use an app and have that taken care of and not rely on the paper check. And we're talking about productivity here, and think about the productivity that's behind that. You're saving time for yourself. not having to do the little check reader thing. You're saving time for your parents. You're putting them in a place where they're happy. I think sometimes when we think about automation tools and software, we just think about, inside our four walls. But let's include the parents in that. How can we make their time more productive as well with the tools that we're using?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean even on the internal side too, there's typically costs associated with implementing CRMs, any sort of automation software, things like that. But like Lisa just mentioned, the time that you save when you implement these processes and you get them running smoothly always is like tenfold what the actual cost of the software is. I mean, even if you think about a CRM, like I'm trying to think about the CRM, like if we didn't have a CRM, I'm trying to even like close my eyes and think through how we would function as a business. But you're talking about dozens of hours of manpower that are saved by utilizing a CRM. And so you take that, you multiply it by an hourly rate, and I guarantee you it's the cost of the CRM is fractional to the money that you would be saving in labor and wages and things like that. And yeah, it really is like it's a matter of convenience. I think you spoke to it perfectly when it comes to the way that it's perceived by the parent and by the family. Like to me, like the first when you asked how I would feel if I was handed a clipboard, my first thought is like I just walked into doctor's care and I'm already not happy to be there, right? Like that's the feeling that I get when it's like I gotta fill this out again. Like you guys have my information. Like what am I doing? Like what are we doing here? And yeah, like when there's so many options out there that have autofill and like the things that we're accustomed to experiencing in a digital way are so efficient. Whenever you meet the what used to be the standard, it almost feels like you're running into a brick wall, and so it can be a big momentum decreaser for your families if you are not kind of entering into that digital space with the rest of other industries, you know?
And let me fill you in here a little bit, Jacob. For those people who don't have a CRM, you know what they're using? A binder.
Oh,
Big binder. There's still people who have them on their shelves. Somebody's out there laughing right now because I'm talking about the big binder. And the big binder has different tabs, what we would consider to be statuses in a CRM, and they're printing out paper and they're moving the pieces of paper
I'm
in.
shuddering, Lisa.
It happens. And I think that that's kind of the point, though, is there is this what would at one time been considered a very efficient process in that binder of moving those families along. How much time would you save if you're doing the same thing but not having to physically print and physically move
Yeah,
them? It's just happening, and not having to remember, oh, today's the day that I'm supposed to send this person an email. Let the system do that. There are lots of things that products can do, right? They can send email, they can send text messages on a timely automated basis without you having to do anything about it. And then the things that you do want to do personally, you do want sometimes to reach out to people. You do want time to conduct that tour.
yeah,
So give yourself that time by not spending that time where you don't have to. Use the productivity tools so that you have time to really focus on the things that are needing you, the tool,
yeah.
the time in the classroom, the development with teachers. That's the things you want to spend your time on, not moving papers in a binder to remember who you had to email today.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And I think exactly what you mentioned, like even the functionality of of having a drip campaign set up to where you get an inquiry online, or even a phone call that can be logged and kind of turned into a lead digitally, where they're entered into a drip campaign based on their status, and they're getting oftentimes what can still be very personalized and genuine messages automatically. I mean, because if you think about you're going to send a welcome message anyways, right? So like typically the welcome message is going to be a very generalized, "Hey Lisa, like it was so great connecting with you. We'd love to have you come in and schedule a tour, yada yada yada," right? That message is not going to look 100% different every time. And so being able to set up these drip campaigns to where you're having them go into kind of a funnel for you. And like you said, like it gives you the ability to spend time where you want to spend the time, right? And it doesn't tire the family out too, right? Like I'm thinking of like my personal experience. If I had to like go through all of these hoops and hurdles and all these different things just to get to the tour, by the time I'm at the tour, I'm probably already like, can we just get on? Like, how much does it cost? Like, can you just tell like Are we doing this thing or not? Like, what's going on? But if my process alternatively is I put an inquiry online and boom, I get an email with a link that I can click. Oh, I can pick a myriad of times that work for me and my family to come in and schedule the tour. Boom, confirmation email comes in, and it's all just 5 minutes. Like, oh, I'm showing up at the tour excited to see what you guys have to offer. You know what I mean? So I think it's exactly what you said. And I mean, even looking at some of the census numbers, like there has been an increase like of the amount of leads that are actually engaging with automation. In it's 7% this year increase. It went from 13% to 20% of leads successfully converting with automation. It's like that trend is only going to continue to tick upwards. Like it's not going anywhere. I think the ease of access everywhere else in life, the fact that if I want a Big Mac, I can go on my phone and order it and not even have to talk to anybody in the drive-through. I just give them a code and they get like that. That is infiltrating every industry everywhere. And so it's kind of the choice that we have in childcare. And Lisa, I think you put it beautifully, is like, let's make the decision to get up with the time so that we can still have that valuable connection where it really matters and where it's really valuable, and all the things that can and should be automated can be. I think that's a perfect thing, because you definitely don't want to lose the connection. Like you want to have that very strong connection. What we do is very, very based in connection, right? Like we're taking care of that person's world. Like that's like we're being entrusted with everything they love. And it's a heavy responsibility to hold, and you want to have that connection with the family. And so being able to just get rid of the logistical nitty-gritty via optimization on oh my goodness, automation is critical. Like it's super, super important.
I hear what you're saying, Jacob, and I couldn't agree more. We are a personal business, and you're exactly right. We're not taking that personal touch away. We can't
Yeah.
simply
Yeah.
in our business. I've put this out there, and I'll put it out there again because there's lots of people on this line right now. I challenge people to think of another business where you see your customer face to face twice a day, every day, right? Your dentist, you see them twice a year. Maybe if you're not planful on your groceries, you go to the grocery store once a day. We're talking twice a day, face to face, every single day. We are not getting away from being a personal business. But you're right. Let's not spend the time doing things that could be automated so that we can spend the time being personal. That's how we want to do it, right? I
Yeah.
guarantee you, no one on this line right now, if I were to do another poll, if I said, how many of you went into childcare so that you could be the top salesperson? Nobody, right? That's not,
Nobody.
it's not why we do what we do. So let's let other products, let's let automation take care of the things that it can so that we can do what we love. And I'm including myself in that we, because, spending time in a center, spending time in a classroom, that's where my heart is. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I help people with automation, because I want them to be able to experience that too.
Yeah. And yeah, and again, I know we're not even talking about leadership in the site, like on site today, but things like productivity and automation, like if you're able to free up that time, like and it's exactly what you said, like you can spend the time in the classrooms with your staff and actually getting connected with them and talking to your parents and not feeling bad about um, spending the time. Because I know like one of the things we all feel is like we have so much to do, like we can just be rushing through our days like chickens without a head, right? And so we're trying to just get through the day, but like if you have these systems, you have these CRMs, ATSs, all these different things, and you know that the process is just smoothly running behind the curtain, like it lifts a lot of the weight off of, because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of administrative work that goes into a childcare program just as much as there is connected and personal things that go into running a childcare center. And so being able to free up that time so you can focus more on the connected personal side of things it's invaluable.
Yeah. I'm sort of observing the chat here while we're talking, Jacob, and I got to call out Chris here with his suggestion that we have people fax in their enrollment forms. Who doesn't love a good fax machine? And then Latrice here,
I have never used a fax machine.
I'm not
There
surprised.
you
I actually in our system in LineLeader, we used to have fax machine as a method of communication. We recently unlocked that so you can remove it. It's not needed anymore. But Latrice is asking a question about what automation systems would you recommend? Excuse me. And so, Latrice, I work for LineLeader. I'm always recommending LineLeader, but let's talk about what type of systems they are. So I would recommend a CRM. Absolutely. I would recommend and sorry, Latrice, just to frame this a little bit, what I'm talking about is the childcare tech stack. What are the software and automation systems that we need to move forward? So again, a CRM, I would recommend some sort of a digital forms solution. Oh, excuse me. Definitely a parent engagement app, right? We're doing such wonderful things inside our four walls. Let's get that stuff out. Let's let the parents know what we're doing. And then also a center management system, something where you are collecting tuition, where you're automating attendance, where you're having parents do the check-in and check-out in a secure way. Those are the types of systems that I would recommend. Now, of course, like I said, I'm LineLeader. We do all of that in one. I would recommend us, but there's lots of solutions out there. And I think the bigger point of today, it's not about LineLeader or whatever other products out there. It's about looking at your automation solutions.
Yeah. Yeah, I would echo, like, it's hard to pick because they're all so valuable. But I would just kind of evaluate what are your pain points, right? Like, is your pain point processing payment? Is it tracking down leads? Is it managing your staff? Like, what are the things that you're really feeling pain points in and pulling the trigger there? If I had to say what my favorite type of system would be, or what I would recommend be the first one, it's probably CRM, just because it's the biggest and it's the bulkiest and it's the most. I think it's the most beneficial. I think you get the most bang for your buck with a great CRM. Christy, I do see a message there about, I think Donna just answered it, but I'm going to repeat it for those that are listening. She said, what do you recommend when states don't accept electronic signatures on the enrollment paperwork? So this is something that we deal with in South Carolina. We are required to have hard copies of everything, but we actually just recently got approval from our licensing agency to have a digital form completed and then printed out and kept in a hard copy. So we still have a couple binders, Lisa. A couple binders laying around. We have the tiny ones though, and so that's kind of been our solution. But I would just talk to your state representative, just kind of propose, like, show them what's out there. There's plenty of demos or videos online and things like that that you can find and show them, like, hey, I could have this solution. It could save us this much time that we could focus on making sure that we're staying in compliance and all those different things. Is this something that you could take to your supervisor and see if we could get pushed up the chain? There's always a solution with licensing. It's nothing's ever as black and white as it seems with licensing. I've come to find out they're just as much people as we are, and a lot of times the things that they're telling you are things that they interpreted themselves, and it doesn't actually always turn out to be true. So I would make sure that you're just being open with your rep and that you're having those conversations and you're showing them what's available in the industry, because like Lisa mentioned, like things like LineLeader and IKS and ProCare, like all of these companies that are kind of introducing automation are only 10, 15 years into the journey, right? Maybe 20 years, right? And so it's industry wide, it's a very new thing that's happening. And so a lot of the state, I mean, you look at our DSS paperwork in South Carolina, a lot of it still says 2002 was the last time it was revised, So it's like a lot of the times they're not even aware of what's available now. So I would just bring it to your licensing agent and see what you can come up with.
I would actually take that a step further, Jacob, because companies like LineLeader and ProCare and IKS and some of your bigger childcare organizations, we're working towards advocacy, right?
Yeah.
We're out there. We are talking with the states. We are talking with licensing people and saying, hey, we need to pull our industry up into the current time. And so I would say if you have access to those agencies, if you have access to NAEYC or your local NAEYC or ECEC or somebody who's out there doing advocacy on behalf of childcare, support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to get those things in place for you. And look, I'm not saying that the states aren't behind. Anybody, you can raise your hand. If you're here from Oklahoma, on Oklahoma's licensing regulation, it still says that the forms must be filled out and signed in blue ink. So this is what we're up against. we have to help them understand that, you know, the licensing regulation, like you're saying, Jacob, 2002, how much has things changed since 2002? There's room for growth in all of these areas. So, you know, if you have that opportunity to be a part of some of that advocacy, I would say, please take it. Please help out all of your peers in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sierra, I don't know if you're still out there, but we are at time. This is only supposed to be a 30-minute call. Jacob and I could go on for like another.
Forever.
No, I think that was fantastic. We got a lot of really good feedback in the chat as well. So I really appreciate your time today. And like I mentioned, we will have a copy of the recording. Appreciate everyone engaging with us in the chat. And please stay tuned because we are going to be having these sessions all throughout the summer. So if you haven't registered for the next one, I believe it's in a couple weeks after July 4th and the holiday. But we would love to see you all there as well. So thanks, Lisa and Jacob, for your time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Have a great weekend.